Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Anupma Biology Classes. In this plant physiology series, today our topic is long distance transport of water in plants. This video is taken from CBSE class 11th, part 5th of chapter 12. Now, let's see here the lecture overview. So in this video, we will focus on long distance transport of water, soil-water relation, water absorbing organs, absorption of water by root hair, in which first one is active water absorption and the second is passive water absorption. Now, let's start the topic, in which our first topic is long distance transport of water. Now, see here. The water is absorbed mainly by the roots and then moved upward to the aerial parts of the plants through stem. The water molecules move upward to long distances through the vascular bundles located within the stems. More specifically, the water moves through xylem capillaries, and this can simply be demonstrated by the following experiment. Uproot a young plant of balsam bearing white flowers. Wash the roots carefully with the tap water and immediately keep the plant in a beaker after dipping the roots in a water-soluble eosine solution. Now, which you can see in the picture. After a few hours, take out the plant and wash the roots under a tap. Carefully observation of plant demonstrates that only xylem strands of the roots stain and leaves stain red. This indicates that upward transport of water occurs through xylem strand. Now, let us discuss in detail the process involved in the absorption of water by roots and its movement up to the top of shoot. It is very clear that water molecules have to travel a very long distance in some tall trees, like as an example eucalyptus. In this picture you can see. Such a movement of water and minerals cannot occur by the process of diffusion alone, because diffusion is a very slow process. Diffusion can account for only short distance movement of molecules and ions. For example, a molecule takes about 2.5 seconds to move across a typical plant cell measuring about 50 micrometer. At this rate, it will take a few years for a molecule of water to travel a distance of 1 meter within a plant by the process of simple diffusion. Thus, simple diffusion cannot account for the water transport from roots to shoot tips in case of tall trees. Sometimes the sites of absorption of water and minerals are several meters away from the site of consumption. Similarly, the sites of synthesis of production of organic substances are also far away from the sites of their storage or consumption. Thus, plants have some special long distance transport systems to carry substances across long distance at a much faster rate. Such a transport system is a mass or bulk flow system which operates through development of pressure differences between the source and sink, which you can see in the picture. This is the upward movement of long distance transport of water. Mass flow or bulk flow system is responsible for the movement of substances in bulk or in mass from the sites of production or absorption to the site of storage or consumption as a result of pressure differences between the two sites. The substance, whether in solution or in suspension, are carried at the same pace as in a flowing river. Such a movement is different from diffusion. So, what is the main difference between the mass or bulk flow system and diffusion? In case of mass or bulk flow, more than one substance move along at the same pace, either along a positive hydrostatic pressure gradient or a negative hydrostatic gradient. And the diffusion is the more than one substance move independently depending on their concentration gradient. Now, absorption and translocation of water in plant involves some important steps which are discussed below, in which the first one, that is the soil water relation, then the water absorbing organs, then absorption of water by the root hairs, then pathway of water movement in the roots, and the last one is upward movement of water. So, at first, see here the first step of long distance transport of water, in which the first one is soil water relation. So, what is the relation between soil and water? Land plants absorb water mainly from the soil. The soil plays important role as a water storage and medium for the root growth, but it is also reservoir of the mineral nutrients and provides anchorage for plants. The chief source of water to the soil is rain. The other source are water table, melting of the snow or ice, and irrigation of fields. The water is universal component of the soil present from trace to sufficient saturation, but customarily water in the soil is known as soil water, soil solution, or the water relation of the soil. Various terms have been used for the soil water according to its availability and non-availability to the plants. For example, the total amount of water present in the soil is called Hollard. Of this, the available to the plant is called Cheshire. It means the total amount of water in soil is Hollard, and in this Hollard, the water which is available for the plant is Cheshire, and the water which cannot be absorbed by the plant is called Icard. Now, broadly, we can recognize five stages of water in the soil which differ in their availability to the plants, and these are briefly described here. So, here you can see the types of soil water or soil moisture. So, at first, that is the gravitational water. So, if we talk about the gravitational water, after a heavy rain, the surface layer of the soil is temporarily saturated. It temporarily displaces air from the large spaces between the soil particles and gradually penetrates through the dry layers of the soil under the influence of gravity. Therefore, the gravitational water is not readily available to the plants and penetrates below the reach of the roots within the few days. Plants absorb this water only when rain showers follow one another. If the gravitational water remains indefinitely, the soil is said to be waterlogged. So this is about the gravitational water. Now, capillary water. So what is capillary water? It comprises the bulk of the water remaining in the soil after gravitational water, which you can see in the picture after the gravitational water. Second is capillary water. So, the capillary water fills the spaces between non-colloidal soil particles. It occurs in the form of film coating smaller soil particles and is retained by the forces of the surface tension. It does not respond to the gravitational pull. The capillary water is readily available to the plant and it is the main source of practically all the water absorbed by them. Now, hygroscopic or imbibed water. So, what is hygroscopic water? The hygroscopic water is held by colloidal soil particles due to cohesive force. So, what is cohesive force? The force of molecular attraction. Plants can absorb a very small quantity of this hygroscopic water. After that, runaway water. The major part of the rainwater flows on the surface of the soil called runaway water. Plants fail to avail this water. And the last is chemically combined water. So, some of the water molecules are chemically combined with the soil minerals like the silicon, iron, aluminium, etc. And this water is not available to the plants. So, there are five types of water, stages of water. in which first one is gravitational, then second is capillary water, then hygroscopic water, then runaway water, and the last is chemically combined water. Now, after this, second is water absorbing organs. So, what are the organs in the plant which absorb water? So, you know that usually absorption of water occurs in the plant through roots. But sometimes, under certain conditions, water is absorbed by shoots also. The zone of rapid water absorption usually lies some 20 to 200 millimeter from the root tip behind the meristem, where the xylem is not fully mature and the epiblema as well as the endodermis are still permeable. So, this area is usually characterized by the presence of root hairs, which serves to increase the area of contact between the root surface and soil. However, presence of root hair is not essential for the water absorption. Some roots, such as adventitious roots of the bulb, corn, and rhizomes, and those of some aquatic plants and gymnosperms, do not have root hairs. The zone of rapid water absorption moves along with the growth of root as the older cells become submerized and lose their ability to absorb water. The root hairs develop mainly at the tip just above the zone of elongation. A root hair, the unicellular tubular prolongation of the outer wall of the epiblema, it is less than 1 millimeter to 1 centimeter in length and approximately 10 micrometer in diameter. They usually are generally delicate and the short-lived. The cell wall of the root hair is composed of two distinct layers. The outer layer, which is composed of pectic substances, helps to adhere soil particles. The inner layer is made up of cellulose. The cell wall is permeable both to solute and the solvent molecules. So, the cytoplasm along with the plasma membrane act as a differentially permeable membrane. The cytoplasm encloses a big central vacuole that contains the cell sap. Nucleus of the cell is generally present at the tip. So, in this picture you can see the structure of a single root hair, and there are many root hairs also, then position of the root tip, then root cap, and after that the cambium, phloem and xylem position. Now see here the root hairs. So in this case you can see here a terminal portion of the root showing root hair zone and the longitudinal section where a young root showing the origin of root hairs just above the zone of elongation. So this is all about the water absorbing organs. After that, now see here the absorption of water by the root hairs. So how can water absorb by the root hair? The absorption of water by plants is also known as water uptake. Terrestrial plants usually absorb water through the root hairs, which are in direct contact with the soil water and soil particles. The initial step in the water uptake is the imbibition of water molecules by the outer pectic layer of the cell wall, which is hydrophilic in nature. The outer layer of root hair wall imbibes water molecules and then these molecules enter into the cell sap. Now, a scientist whose name is Kramer in 1949 recognized two distinct mechanisms which independently operate in the absorption of water in plant, and these mechanisms are active absorption and the second is passive absorption. Now, first, that is active water absorption. When the water is absorbed due to the activity of root itself, particularly root hairs, it is termed active absorption. The first step in the absorption of water is its imbibition on the cell wall surface. Since the cell wall is permeable, it allows both solute and solvent molecules to pass through. The water enters through the cell wall and comes in contact with differentially permeable plasma membrane and cytoplasm. The cell sap filled inside the vacuole is now separated from the external soil water by a differentially permeable membrane. Under such conditions, the water must enter into the cell sap from the soil solution through the differentially permeable membrane. As we discussed about that water mainly enters into the root hair cell by the process of diffusion. Water molecules cross the cellulose cell wall by the simple process of diffusion down the concentration gradient and then come in contact with selectively permeable plasma membrane. The water molecules enter into the cell by passing through plasma membranes by means of diffusion along a gradient of decreasing water potential or increasing solute potential. Water continues to enter the root hair cells as long as the water potential of the root cell sap is more negative than that of the soil solution until the elasticity of stretched cell wall is sufficient to balance the osmotic potential. Sometimes water is absorbed by roots even when there is no osmotic potential difference between the xylem sap of the root and the soil solution. Under such condition, no net flow of water should occur. Even then, the water continues to enter into the root hair. Such transport process does not occur due to simple diffusion or facilitated diffusion. Such absorption of water occurs due to active transport involving carrier molecules at the expenditure of the metabolic energy. So this is all about the active water absorption which where the water absorbed by the activity of root. Now the second, that is the passive water absorption. Under the conditions of the passive water absorption, the factors originating in the upper part of the plant, like rapid transpiration, play an important role. The root cells play a passive role. Passive water absorption is regulated by transpiration. Actively transpiring plants allow water vapors to evaporate from the leaf cells to diffuse rapidly into the drier air outside the leaf. As the water is lost from the leaf cells, their turgor pressure drops rapidly and they ultimately withdraw water from the adjacent xylem cells. Anatomically, the leaves are heavily supplied with the vascular bundles to replenish the loss of water from the living cells of the leaves. So, withdrawal of water from a vessels or tracheids tends to collapse the xylem cells, but they do not collapse due to presence of nearly rigid secondary thickening in their cell walls. However, a suction pressure below the atmospheric pressure of about 1 bar is set up inside the xylem cells and the shaft develops tension. So, experimentally demonstrated that the tension develops in the xylem during the rapid transpiration. Due to the development of tension in the xylem sap, its water potential is decreased. The turgor pressure becomes nearly zero. The tension can only be reduced if it gets water from the roots in the region of root hair. It is well known that the xylem is continuous between the stem and the roots and it extends down the near the tip of each root. It does not open directly into the soil. It surrounds on all sides by the living tissues of the pericycle, endodermis, cortex and epidermis. Thus, the tension developed at the upper end of the xylem is transmitted downward up to the extreme tips of the roots. The water enters into the root hairs due to driving force originated in the shoot. Such type of absorption of water is regarded as passive absorption. So here you can see the difference between the passive absorption and active absorption. Now the main difference between the active and passive absorption is, here you can see, in case of active absorption energy is required while in case of passive energy is not required. The force are created by the osmotic concentrations in the active absorption, while in case of passive absorption It is created by transpiration pull. Absorption is due to activity of root hair cells in active, while in case of passive, absorption is due to the activity of the leaves. In case of active, root hair cells have high DPD compared to soil solution, while in case of the passive, the mesophyll cells have the high DPD compared to the xylem vessels. Rate of absorption depends on DPD in case of active, while the rate of absorption depends on transpiration in case of passive. In case of active, absorbed through symplast pathway and transmembrane pathway, while in case of passive, water passes through apoplast pathway, symplast pathway and transmembrane pathway. In case of active absorption, it is correlated with the respiration for energy, while the passive absorption correlated with the transpiration. In case of active absorption, the rate of absorption is slow, while in case of passive absorption, the rate of absorption is high. So, this is all about in this video, like the soil water relation, water absorption organ and the absorption of water by the root hairs. This is the end of the video. The next upcoming video in this plant physiology series will be on the ascent of sap, which means the upward movement of water and other components from the roots to the aerial parts of the plant. So if you understand this video, please like and share it and subscribe to my channel Anupma Biology Classes. If you have any questions, any queries or any suggestions, you can ask in the comment section below. Thank you for the watching.